I give the call to the member for New England.
Well, thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. There is no doubt about it that COVID has been an absolute tragedy globally. In excess of 170 million people have caught the disease. In excess of 3.5 million people have died. If we look at countries such as the United States, 555,000 people have died. That's basically more than the First World War and Second World War and Vietnam and Iraq all combined. Even England, in excess of 120 in the wars. In England, in excess of 120,000 people have died. Now, each one of those lives is as precious as the other. There is no calibration in the worth of a life. But what you can say is Australia has done, on that morbid statistic, very well. Less than 1,000 people in Australia have died from COVID, and that is an exceptional outcome. Now, we would hope that it'd be zero. Greenland has had 0 deaths. We hope it would be 0. And we have to strive towards that. But it seems evident that the epicentre of the disease in Australia has been Victoria. And someone has to call into question the management by the state government in Victoria and exactly how they are managing that. Now, if the Victorians, the Labor government, are incapable of managing the COVID epidemic, then they should hand it over to somebody who can. They should hand it over to somebody who can. Now, we hear, obviously, there's been a massive expenditure by the government, predominantly on borrowed money, or overwhelmingly on borrowed money, in fact almost totally on borrowed money, to make sure that we do what we can to alleviate the financial concerns and try to get ourselves the other end here. But this is not an unlimited chequebook. It just can't go on. This money has to be repaid. And what I always find an incredible frustration is you hear members from the Greens talk about they want to spend more money, and the next breath they're saying you've got to ban coal, you've got to ban gas, you've got to ban the live cattle trade, you've got to ban the mechanism that earns the export dollars for this nation. It shows that there is an inconsistency, and some would say an economic insincerity in their requests, because they're never able to show you exactly where the money that they want spent comes from. It just becomes an ambit claim. And anybody can make an ambit claim, but there's only, I would say, the Coalition or the Labor Party are the only ones who actually have to make the books stack up, that actually have to work out where this money and where this path out of our current debt, how it is going to be achieved. So if your benevolence is authentic, then stand behind and be strong enough to say we must also show you where the money we want to spend will come from, and how we will make sure our economy becomes as powerful as possible, as quickly as possible, so that we can achieve that outcome. So this, and what we also find from the Greens is once they get sort of perturbed or frustrated or incompetent in an argument, they just go argumentum ad hominem, because there is really no depth. There is really no depth to the substance of what they say. It is the substance of what they say, and that's fair enough. You know, you can be a barking oracle in here; it's quite easy, but it doesn't actually take our nation anywhere. So I'm happy that in our electorate, in New England, we are getting on with COVID, getting the COVID vaccine rollout. We are actually getting through the population. In Australia, around about 4 million people have received the vaccination. About 1 million have received 2. So the program is rolling ahead. And if you are saying, well, where is perfection? Well, I don't know where that resides, but the fact that Australia has managed to control the cataclysmic death toll in other countries, I would say has to be a big tick for the government. I would say that the people who would look around the world and say, only but for the grace of the government and the luck and luck, we do not have the problems that they're experiencing elsewhere. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I would just say that our government has done an exceptional job, and I'm not known as one that gives away glib praise just for the sake of it.